Pagans, middle of the floor, double teamed, over to Maxey. Maxey comes into the paint, out to Quickly, open three, left side, bucket!
Maxey, good look, Tyrese.
And that was the dagger that helped the Wildcats put away the Volunteers in Knoxville, one of two Kentucky wins down in Tennessee this past weekend. Welcome into another edition of BBN TV. Kentucky made a clean sweep of the state of Tennessee this past week as they head down the stretch in the SEC.
The Cats remain tied for first in the league with some big games coming up. So let's take a look at that. How big was that victory over the Vols?
That was huge.
It was big. It came in a hostile environment. It was a big boost for Kentucky after both LSU and Florida suffered through some upsets. It was Johnny Juzang. He had a big game, some big plays in the clutch, and we're going to take a closer look at some of his action later on.
All right, and the Cats hit some sour notes down in the Music City during the first half anyway. Vanderbilt was knocking down every three-pointer they took over the floor. They ran all over the floor. They ran out to a 36-22 lead before intermission, but from then on, the Cats nearly doubled up the doors, outscoring them 56-28, and they left Nashville with a 78-64 win. Their share of first place in the SEC is still intact. So 2 wins in Tennessee. Both of them very different, but that one against Vandy in the second half was impressive.
Well, and I think everybody knows Vanderbilt can shoot the ball. So I think that was a little bit of you kind of got smacked in the mouth a little bit there because you didn't expect them to play that well. So I think once the Cats settled in, they really got it together there. But yeah, hey, if you can rack up Tennessee like that, great job.
Yes, and it had been a while since John Calipari and the Wildcats had won in Knoxville. So that was almost a statement game that, yes, Kentucky is one of the better teams in the SEC.
Yeah, good stretch there for the Cats. Well, it's not only March Madness coming up fast, but spring football is nearly here. The Wildcats already working out, including some of the early enrollees, and they talked to us about, among other things, why they chose Kentucky.
Well, luckily, I made one visit to Kentucky, and I was really, I was pretty much sold. So I didn't have to go all around the country looking or somewhere, and my home was here. And so, that's a really good, it was benefit for me. I didn't have to go anywhere else. I visited Kentucky 2 times, and I knew this was the spot.
It felt like home. Yeah, it's different, because the weather, though. But, I mean, it just felt like home. There was something about the calm atmosphere that it was just soothing, and I just felt, that this is a place.
As soon as I stepped on campus, it felt like home. Every coach, everybody just felt like family, someplace that I just had to be.
I was still a fan while I was being recruited. It's always hard to not do that, but I'd say my view from being recruited was more just where I thought the best fit was for me. And I was always a fan, and I never really changed that as much. But I'd say I just kind of looked more, like when I would go to a game, I'd start analyzing more instead of just being a real fan. I kind of look at it different from when I did about 5 years ago.
So for those of us that call Kentucky home, nothing warms my heart anymore than to hear those guys say that when their visit felt like home.
Feels like home.
Yeah, glad they're here. So more on the new guys a little later, plus more basketball, baseball, and softball.
Yeah, it's all ahead right here on BBN TV.
Big Blue Nation TV is presented by UK Federal Credit Union and sponsored by Central Bank, Coca-Cola, Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance, Kroger, Papa John's, Toyota, and by UK Federal Credit Union.
Where does it go? Where does that go?
UK Federal Credit Union. Banking, only better.
You know who really loves fresh food? Amateur chefs, stay-at-home parents, salad lovers, barbecuers, smorgasborders, hors d'oeuvres, fondue-ers, and flambéers, midnight snackers, brown baggers, bakers, and throw it in the microwavers. At Kroger, you can get all the fresh you want at a great price with same-day pickup and delivery. Because we believe in fresh for everyone.
You got me falling hard, sweet baby, you got me falling hard for you. And still, I felt this way before, you know it's true. And still, you got
This week's play of the game is sponsored by Coca-Cola.
It's on the way. It's no good. Rebound, Juzang on the left baseline. Goes up and scores.
How about Johnny? He's having an afternoon, isn't he?
Yes, indeed he was. Juzang was Johnny Knoxville in Kentucky's win at Tennessee. With the departure of Khalil Whitney, John Calipari's rotation is down to a scant 8 players, so he really has to have everybody at their best.
Absolutely he does, and he certainly got that from Johnny Juzang in Knoxville. He hit all 4 field goal tries, including 3 triples and 2 free throws, and his teammates say that Johnny's hard work is now paying off.
He stays ready, puts in the work every single day. First one in the gym, last one leaving. Proud of him. Coach told him to stick with it, keep fighting, and today he really needed him. I'm proud of you, bro.
Max Levels was looking out for me.
I'm proud of you, bro.
I just love that Tyrese Maxey looking out like a proud papa, and those 2 guys are the exact same age, both freshmen. But,
yeah.
But it's pretty cool. They're all excited for what Johnny was able to do that night.
And very humble. You can tell Johnny's very humble about being able to take that and say, but you got to love that. It's sort of like Nick Richards and E.J. Montgomery watching these guys and the game really coming together for them. It's happening for Johnny Juzang.
And John Calipari always wants these guys to find their role on this team. Coming off the bench and knocking down 2 or 3 3-pointers a night, that's Juzang's role, and if he can do that, that would be a big, big boost for this Wildcats team.
No question about it. Well, in Nashville on Tuesday night, Vanderbilt came out and bagged 8 of 17 3-pointers in the first half, nearly ran Kentucky out of the gym. And the Commodores, they spread the floor, knocked down shots, and ran off to a 36-22 lead. It was only a 9-point game at halftime, but in the second period, it was all Wildcats. Kentucky put together a 24-4 run, and they led by 11. Vandy did cut into that lead. They got it to 5 with 4 to play, but Emmanuel quickly, he was feeling it. He nailed back-to-back triples, and the lead was safe again. Tyrese Maxey led the way with 25 points. The Wildcats win it 78-64, and they still own a piece of first place in the SEC heading into Saturday's game at home with Ole Miss.
It's real good, being down like 10, 12 in the first half and just knowing y'all finished the game fighting. Everybody was fighting. It's just a brotherhood when we come to the end of it. We just, after every game we winning on the road, we try to find a student section and go turn them up. And that's all it is, just showing love to each other.
And then the best thing that happened is, for the first time this year, Tyrese Maxey played with a toughness to win versus just play basketball. First time this year. Now you have to understand, I've been all over this and all over him and not settling. And so that was a good sign.
Got to love the fight that all of these guys showed and the level of toughness. To get down in the SEC, no matter who you're playing, is always tough on the road, and they fought back. Yeah,
they were down by 14 at one point and came all the way back and got a good win. That was something that you don't want to see as far as a fan, but you do want to see them have the ability to fight back. Right. Now, they need to learn how to get out on an opponent early so they don't have to fight back. You're down 14.
Well, it's like it doesn't matter whether it's a deficit isn't safe, a lead isn't safe, no matter what you do. It's that you're down 10, you're up 10. Kentucky's got to be able to close the door either way, right? I mean,
yes, absolutely. And this team certainly has learned its way of how to fight. That will be something that will benefit them when the tournament comes around. All right, stay with us. There is more to come.
We'll take a deep dive into some of the action from this past week. That's next on BBN TV.
For official coverage of the Cats, including live game audio and exclusive video content, download the official UK Athletics app from iTunes or Google Play today.
It may not be their forever home, but it is their first home. It's where they'll begin to build a life together, learn how to tile a kitchen floor, and do all the other grown-up things that come with home ownership, like start a family. We're proud to not just be Kentucky's Farm Bureau, but John and Katie's Making Memories Farm Bureau.
Our Farm Bureau.
Kentucky Farm Bureau, big on commitment.
You know who really loves fresh food? Amateur chefs, stay-at-home parents, salad lovers, barbecuers, smorgasborders, hors d'oeuvres, fondue-ers, and flambéers, midnight snackers, brown baggers, bakers, and throw it in the microwavers. At Kroger, you can get all the fresh you want at a great price with same-day pickup and delivery. Because we believe in fresh for everyone.
Tune in to the UK Healthcare John Calipari radio show every Monday from 6 to 7 p.m., followed by the Big Blue Nation radio show from 7 to 8 p.m. on the UK Sports Network.
All right, we have moved over to the big board now, and that can only mean one thing. We've got Christy here, and she's about to bring us some knowledge.
Well, we'll try anyway. So, well, listen, I'll tell you one thing that Kentucky has done so well this year, in my opinion, Lee K, is really score so well in transition. And that's what we're about to take a look at here, is how Kentucky is able to score in transition so well. And it starts, of course, with E.J. Montgomery getting the block on the other end. And then really what this is all about is everybody running the floor so well and filling the lane. So as we take a look back at it, Johnny Juzang doing a great job here. But E.J. Montgomery gives it up quick. Now take a look. We've got 1, 2, 3 players, and of these 3 players that are hustling down the floor, 2 of them are big men. I love that. Listen, the big men are going to run the floor. You've got to reward them. You've got 2 defenders. Johnny Juzang has to make them make a decision. What are they going to do, and how are they going to guard it? It's a 4-on-2 situation. When he realizes he's going to get picked up here, his defender has him. He's going to make the sweet pass, beautiful bounce pass, rather than going up to the rim and trying to force something that may not be there. You might get yourself to the free throw line, but why would you do that when you can make the sweet pass for the jam to Nick Richards? As a big player, a 4 or 5 running the floor, so important, so crucial, and they have to be rewarded. When the big guys are going to get down the floor, put it up there to the rim, let him get it, let him get 2 points out of it. It's a great job. And that's also one of those benefits of the kind of guys that Calipari likes to recruit, those athletic big guys that have the ability to run the floor. Got to run the floor, be quick. But you have to love, too, E.J. Montgomery with the quick block, the quick out, everything about it was quick. So really showing that they can score so well in transition. That was a good play. We got another one, though. Yeah, we do have another one, and this will be kind of reminiscent of something that we looked at last week, but a little bit different in that Kentucky's going to read the defense a little bit differently. Emmanuel Quickly is going to step back for a 3, out of bounds, out of a timeout. Again, Kentucky doing a great job of executing, but let's talk about why this works. What we've seen in the past here is watch. Here's Emmanuel Quickly. He's going to work his man down into the lane. He's going to work his defender down, and we're going to see what we see out of this play all the time, which is Nick Richards setting a screen up top for Ashton Hagans. Number of things that can happen off of this. The first is Ashton Hagans, if he's got a line, he's going to go straight down to the rim. Emmanuel Quickly has done a nice job of working his man in here. Nick Richards also can come off of that with the pick and roll standard like we've seen him do before and make that pass to the rim. But the big thing here is going to be Emmanuel Quickly. Watch this red line as he's working his way back up top because he's done exactly what he needed to do, which is get his defender set up and ready for that. Now we take a look at Ashton Hagans coming off the screen, is double teamed here. Nick Richards on his pick and roll, now he is double teamed, so it's perfect. Emmanuel Quickly pops back out, wide open for the 3 all day long to shoot, which is even better. We know what a great shooter he is. And listen, we heard Ashton Hagans say after this game, anytime I'm giving Emmanuel Quickly the ball, I'm taking off and running down the other end because I know he's hitting it. He's playing so well and shooting so well. But here's another angle of it as well, too, where you can see just watching him pop out. Again, we talked about this last week. It's reading the defense and so many options off of a play like that. What's the defense giving you? Take it, and you see lots of things can happen out of that. And, of course, the other option there, if Emmanuel's guy hadn't have gone down to the post where Nick was, they probably could have lobbed it over the top to Nick if his guy would have came out and covered him on the 3-point line. This is where your basketball IQ comes into play. You've got to read the defense, and it's got to be quick, right? Making quick decisions, but making good decisions. So we saw that. You double-teamed. Ashton Hagans has no straight line cut to or dribble drive to the basket. Right. You've got Nick Richards. His cut is defended. Perfect. So that's just learning how to play basketball. Absolutely. Right? And executed to perfection out of a timeout. That makes the coach so happy. Yes, it does. All right, when we come back, we're going to shift our focus back to football. The spring game is coming up. It's coming up soon, and the new Wildcats, well, some of them are already on campus. That's next on BBN TV.
Riddle me this. With all this sizzling meat and crunchy veggies nestled between toasty flatbread, who should get credit for Papa John's new papadilla? The person who invented pizza or the person who invented folding? Well, whoever it is, a tip of the tongue hat to you, sir or madam. Get a new papadilla, 4 flavors, just $6 each. Better ingredients, better pizza, better than a sandwich. Papa John's.
Toyota has elevated the expectations of what an SUV can be, and the experts have taken notice. Introducing the all-new Highlander, aggressively styled with a powerful V6 inside an all-new premium interior, more cargo space, available 12.3-inch touchscreen, and connectivity for all your devices, with Toyota's most advanced safety features as standard equipment. Now, when you finance a new Highlander, you'll get $750 APR cash from Toyota Financial Services. Go better. Go Highlander. Toyota, let's go places.
UK Sports and Campus Marketing would like to thank our official Cornerstone partners. Central Bank, the official bank of UK Athletics. And Kentucky Farm Bureau, big on commitment.
We have talked before about the recruiting class that Mark Stoops and his staff has brought in for the upcoming season.
It's pretty impressive.
Yes,
Most of them will arrive this summer, but some are already here working out, getting ready for some spring drills. One of them is transfer quarterback Joey Gatewood, and he spoke earlier this week with Curtis Birch.
Joey, how are you liking Lexington so far?
I'm enjoying it a lot. You know, I'm really grateful to be here. You know, I'm ready to take full advantage of my opportunity here and just go from there and run with it.
What was the decision process for you going into the transfer portal and then ultimately choosing Kentucky?
Going into the transfer portal, my main goal was just to really find a home, find a really good fit for me in the offense, and it's a really good situation where I could really, you know, take advantage of everything. And, you know, luckily my first visit was, you know, really everything that showed me here between the coaches and the players, like keeping everything real with me and telling me like how it is here. You know, I really feel like this was a really best spot for me, and so I came back on an unofficial. You know, I just loved it even more. You know, it really tied down where I knew I was going to go.
A lot of comparisons to Cam Newton. Even Coach Henshaw kind of threw out his name because of your size and the things you do on the football field. When you hear that, how do you kind of react?
You know, I've been hearing that for a while. You know, I don't really, you know, I play my own game. You know, I feel like everybody would say I play my own game, but you know, it is something good. Be compared to Cam. You know, Cam was a great player, especially in college football, and so you know, I'm just hoping to be, you know, I'm hoping to be my own man, my own dude, and just, you know, run with it from there.
How have you built relationships with the guys already on campus, specifically the quarterbacks?
Right. You know, I have them in my workout group, besides Bo, but you know, I'm really putting names to faces with a lot of them, and but as far as quarterbacks, just building a good relationship with them, because I'm be with them a lot. So, you know, Terry, Sawyer, and so, you know, I really think great guys. So.
And I'm sure that they're going to be able to help you, teach you this playbook, teach the offense. How do you do that in a quarterback room? How does that all come together?
You know, I think it just comes with time. You know, like when we go throw, they tell me this is your footsteps here, this is the route over here with the play concept. So I mean, it just takes time that you go inside, you go watch film, you know, and you know, they sit down, you know, they tell you, you know, this is probably what it's going to be. This is like the most common one. So they're helpful. They've been helpful.
One thing that Coach Henshaw talks a lot about is footwork and those kind of things. How excited are you to work with him, a guy who's developed so many different styles of quarterback just at his time at Kentucky?
I mean, I'm very excited to work with Coach Henshaw. You know, he's a great guy. I feel like he's a great coach as well. So, you know, I'm just excited.
What excites you the most about the Kentucky offense? There's been a couple of different varieties, but I feel like any of them could play to your strengths.
I'm excited because I feel like if they take the run scheme they have with Lynn, and then the pass scheme they have with Terry, and everything like this past year, and just put it together, this offense is really good. I really feel like this is a good offense that fits me.
You have to love the fact that all of these quarterbacks want to come here and they want the competition.
Yes.
They don't want to go someplace where they can just play just because. They want to compete for the position. I think that's very telling.
And I think we saw this past year how important it is to have a couple of quarterbacks
Indeed.
at your disposal, ready to go.
Yes.
Lynn Bowden did an excellent job stepping into that position, but he was not the quarterback that many people thought that they got when they recruited him. So having a guy like Joey Gatewood, though, with the experience, with the talent that he has, wanting to come play football at the University of Kentucky. That says something about him, but it also says something about where that football program is at this point.
No question about it, and I totally agree with you. It's not a guy that can come in and just take some snaps. It has to be somebody that can come in and compete at the SEC level, and I think we're seeing that now, that they're building for that, and get a healthy Terry Wilson back. I'd love to see what that that fall camp looks like.
And one more thing, it's still not certain whether or not Gatewood will have to sit out a year or if he'll be eligible this next season. We'll still have to wait and see how that all plays out. All right, coming up, UK softball and baseball are now underway.
We already have some highlights for you. That's coming up next on BBN TV.
For complete coverage of the Cats, like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and on Twitter.
You got me falling hard, sweet baby, got me falling hard for you. And still, I felt this way before, you know it's true. And still, you got me more and more. Oh, you got me falling hard.
When you're out recruiting, a phone call doesn't always cut it. You have to be there face to face.
It's the same with banking. That's why I chose Central Bank.
At Central Bank, it's easy to stay connected with online and mobile banking. But when you need someone to talk to or a quick decision made, we're right here with the products and personal service to help guide you toward your financial goals.
Think local.
Grow local.
Bank local and put Central Bank's local advantage to work for you.
For generations, this land has been their home. They've risen with the sun and worked, sometimes literally, until the cows came home. It's more than their livelihoods. It's their lives. And we're proud to be more than Kentucky's Farm Bureau. We're proud to be the Clear Creek Home Place Farm Bureau.
Our Farm Bureau.
Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Big on commitment.
Join Dave Baker and Rex Chapman for Don Franklin Auto Countdown to Tip-Off coverage of Kentucky basketball. 90 minutes before every game on the UK Sports Network.
The softball Wildcats opened up with the 4 straight wins at a round-robin event down in Clearwater, Florida, including a 7-0 shutout of Minnesota. Both Mallory Payton and Tatum Spangler with long bombs off the Golden Gophers. Megan Shorman and Grace Ballman combined for the shutout. The Cats are at another round-robin event at Arizona State this weekend. Good weekend for them.
Absolutely. And the baseball Cats are getting started this weekend with 3 games down in Fort Worth against TCU. It's a tough opening up on the road, but then Kentucky comes home for a long stretch of home games, hoping to make the most of that.
Yeah, that's one of the first things I tell people whenever they're asking about the season. I'll say that, yeah, we're heading to TCU first weekend, and then we're coming back for 15 straight games. And the common thing that people say when I say that are, wow, it's going to be cold. But the first thing that comes to my mind is like, wow, like, it's an incredible opportunity to play in front of our fans. And, like, there's no other fans in the country that I want to play more for. It makes me want to play harder when I'm playing at home because, like, I want to win for the people watching us. So, yeah, that 15-game stretch and then 36 home games in total for the whole season, I think is going to be really beneficial for us.
Okay, what I like is the 36 home games that they're playing at home, the ones that are in warm weather. Listen, I'm trying to tell you that in this area, when you're playing at home in the cold weather, it is downright cold at the baseball or softball field, and that can really make a difference for both teams, softball or baseball. So get softball team playing down south where there's warmer temperatures for sure. And
speaking about making a difference, the reason that the baseball team's able to come home and play all these early games at home is because of Kentucky Proud Park. That's right. And that turf field. In years past, they had to be on the road for so many games because the field over at Cliff Hagen could not be ready in time for this time of the year in case it snowed or rained or something like that. So it's because of Kentucky Proud Park those teams are able to play at home this early in the season.
Beautiful park. If you haven't been out there, you got to go.
Absolutely. All right. For the first time in program history, 2 current UK athletes will be competing in the Olympics. Sophomore Will Shaner and freshman Mary Tucker. They earned spots at the air rifle Olympic trials in Colorado Springs.
This is so cool. Tucker is tearing it up this season. She scored .598 or better in air rifle 7 times this year. There have only been 14 scores of .598 or better overall in the entire NCAA. Shaner is right behind Tucker in air rifle average and aggregate average. He has 4 scores of 597 or higher in air rifle in the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo. Those begin July 24th. That'll be pretty cool.
Yes, and the basketball Cats will be looking to protect their share of first place in the SEC when Ole Miss comes to town on Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock tip-off. Right there in Rupp Arena.
And the women play on Sunday. It's going to be a tough one, Lee K. 6th-ranked Mississippi State coming to town. The Wildcats fighting for the best seed they could get in the SEC tournament. That one tips at 5 o'clock at Memorial Coliseum.
All right, thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Big Blue Nation TV was presented by UK Federal Credit Union and sponsored by Central Bank, Coca-Cola, Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance, Kroger, Papa John's, Toyota, and by UK Federal Credit Union. Tune in to the UK Healthcare John Calipari radio show every Monday from 6 to 7 p.m. on the UK Sports Network.